Good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. How are you?
I'm good. I'm in recovery.
Oh, God.
I'm in recovery. If anybody just watches on YouTube, just cover my face for a moment. I'm off the back of 48-hour sickness bug, guys. But
Oh,
I'm here.
you are
Yeah,
here.
I'm here. I may not have all my sparkly energy that I normally have, but I have enough to be here because I really wanted to be here. That
Yes.
itchy feeling, just want to get back to the goodness.
Yeah.
So I'm good, thank you. I am good. I'm just taking it very slowly. I'm listening to my body, drinking plenty of water, and just making my way through a loaf of bread, eating toast.
Yeah. You can't be a
Keeping it
bit of
plain.
toast, can you?
Can't be a bit of buttery toast, so just keeping it plain for a couple of days. But no,
Yeah.
I'm very good, thank you. I am,
Good.
yeah, very good. And how are you?
Yes, I'm good. I'm good. It's been a bit of a busy one for me. It was my daughter April's birthday, and we visited family in Leeds. And yeah, we managed to get a little date night on Friday. So it has been a full weekend of it, but all good stuff. Yeah.
Um,
But I'm also seeing a little bug going around near us as well. So I'm just
oh
like,
yeah,
fingers
I know,
crossed.
I know. It's the kids, isn't it, at school? It's
Yeah.
it basically kicked off at the kids' school, and yeah, so like just about 10 days of
Yes.
yeah, good stuff. It's fine. It makes us more resilient. All that
It's
kind of yeah, no, it's
I'm
all
always
good.
literally like, it's just ticking off something on the immunity chart. Like
Yeah,
I always think of it like that. Like you've ticked it off. Let's keep going. Tick another
yeah,
one off. We're getting stronger and stronger with every one.
that's it.
Um,
That's it.
but yeah, and we're heading like spring.
I know the
Oh,
sky today. Oh my gosh, it's
yeah,
absolutely glorious, isn't it?
yeah,
Blue skies ahead. It really is
yes.
glorious. So,
Amazing. So, we are celebrating something this week, guys, which we're so excited to share. We are celebrating one whole year of Conversations with Charlotte and Kat.
woohoo! A whole year of the podcast. That is insane.
It is, isn't it? And we really wanted to talk about this today to just speak about kind of how scared we were to start this podcast, how
Mm.
unnatural it felt, and just a few of the lessons that we've learned along the way. So where should we start?
Wow, I don't know if I'd use the word scared. I'd probably more use the word for me petrified. Like another level of scared. That I think Sean, I definitely have spoken about this on previous episodes. The hurdles, like the fear that I had to push through to do this.
Yeah.
Like I hated the sound of my own voice. Still not very keen on it, but I'm just getting over that. Um, who am I to say, who's going to listen to me? Who does she think she is to say this? So many things got in my way.
Yeah.
I knew how much goodness there was going to be in us sharing our self-development journeys together in this way and just having these open conversations. But gosh, oh my word, did I have to beat down yeah,
Yeah. Some
some fears and
fears.
nerves
Yeah.
and just kind of eventually just like we do with everything that we're scared of, just dance with it and go with it. And so proud of us that we did. So proud
Yeah.
because a year on and we've got some cracking episodes, some amazing followers, some amazing
Yeah.
subscribers. The feedback that we get is incredible. We have women that reach out to us that are like binge listening and just saying like,
Yeah.
just thank you for having these conversations because it's really helping them to know that they're not
Yeah.
alone and they can relate to the things that we're going through and our takeaways help. And yeah, just feeling all the feels and just so really proud of ourselves for doing this.
Yeah. And it was one of those things, wasn't it? That, well, I think it was you who'd actually podcasting was one of your things, wasn't it? Initially, I think was you were like, I've got a podcast in, and like I'm going to do a podcast. And if I remember rightly, we were planning this, wasn't it? And that was when I was like, "Oh, mission's so aligned. Come and join me on the whole thing." Like, and that was
Yeah.
when you joined TAGC. So we kind of did TAGC, didn't we? And the podcast, very similar times then,
Yes.
really.
Yes, that's right.
Um, which was incredible. And I remember for me at that time being really quite overwhelmed with how on earth you do a podcast in the first place.
Yeah.
How do you get it from out of your head and onto Spotify? Like so many blocks of the house. And that was the exact place that I was in when setting up TAGC in the first place the year a few months before. It would have been 6 months before, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
And I thought I'll just share that because it really reinforced the whole one step at a time approach.
Yeah.
Like we can easily get so overwhelmed and think we just don't know how to do something. But when we stay in that space and don't let ourselves try, we just block ourselves. And like by just taking one little step after one little step every single day, we can figure out anything. And I think that goes to show, like, for us being absolutely clueless about how to put a podcast out there, we've done it and we've done it for a year and
Yeah.
consistently.
You're right, because we can get so fixated on the mechanics of how things, the how. Like, I'm
Yeah.
such a how girl, but
Yeah.
how, but
Yeah.
how, and like that's great in some ways, but there's been many a times in life when the how's like getting so fixated in the how has held me back.
Yeah.
And I know that we had to step into the trust with the podcast. Okay, there was technicalities, so we did have to figure out what best platform to record on. We
Yeah.
invested in some microphones to try and enhance the sound quality and things like that. So, but Google has a lot of
Yeah.
answers, guys. Like,
It
but
does.
we had to
Yeah.
put ourselves out there. And we had to go and if we didn't know the how, like the technical side of things to get up
Mm,
and running, we had to go and discover how. But we
yeah.
did that because we wanted it so much. It's not like we were just going to hang around and wait for the answers just to arrive.
Hmm.
But there's a fine balance, isn't there, between that and then the whole forcing of the how. It's like, do what you can
Yeah.
do, but don't get so fixated on. For me, I used to get so fixated on the whole map, like wanting to see
Yeah.
every single step, having it all perfectly lined up, all the ducks in a row. Um, and I think just letting go of that and really stepping into trust and just getting some gear, finding out what software to use and hitting record
Yeah.
and just going for it and not looking at all the other people that we were listening to and think, oh my gosh, they're on like episode 312 and they've got this intro and this outro and then they do this and they're absolutely smashing it. It's
Yeah.
like, why compare our chapter 1 to their chapter 64? It's
Yeah.
it's crazy, isn't it? But we so often do that and then we get, and all the fear factors come in and then we retract, and then therefore we don't do anything sometimes.
Exactly. And it's all the process, isn't it? And I think the quicker we get started on something, the better. Like for us in the beginning, we didn't have a jingle or like anything like that. I think we had literally a little bit of music that was like inside and outside. I remember at the time when I think you put the music on and I listened to it and I was like, oh, we are doing this. Like literally, it sounded incredible. And now, we've progressed again and we have words at the beginning and words at the end and music intertwined. I know that both of us want to at one point do a little teaser at the beginning, but that's a bit further on the journey. And we don't have to have everything, like you say, like everybody else in the beginning. We've just got to start.
Mm.
And that's been really powerful for us both. And I think we've both kind of just our voices have emerged through kind of showing up. And that was another how. And I remember with you, it was not telling you about the topic, wasn't it?
I love this. And I still love this strategy to this day. Like I am buzzing when we turn up on a Monday, when we meet a Monday morning, and you're like itching to tell me what you want to talk about before we hit record. And I'm like, fingers in my ears, like la 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 la
Yeah.
la 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 la. I'm like, don't tell me because I don't know what it is. This is something I'm working on. But as soon as I'm aware of like what the topic is, I'm thinking about I'm trying to remember all the things I want to say. And this is a
Yeah.
big thing for me because I'm working on trust this year in terms of trusting my voice. And I'm definitely getting better. But I do love the approach where you just like hit me with a complete and out surprise when we hit record
Yeah.
because then I just have to trust, don't I?
Yeah.
Like I can't prepare and I can't think about all the things I want to say. And then I'm speaking from memory and I'm speaking from like trying to, of course I'm speaking from memory, but like, trying to
Yeah.
regurgitate what I've just gone through in my mind. Whereas actually when you spring the surprise on me, I'm like, it's just you just get what you just get what comes out,
Yeah.
which works really well.
And which is authentic. Like it's
Yes.
from your heart. It's what
Yeah,
you want
yeah.
to say in that moment. And I love the thought of, we might not say everything that we want to say in one topic. That's okay because when we film another episode in a few weeks and it's a slightly different, it might come up then and it's all meant to come out at the right time. And I know this is a big one for both of us in terms of that. Not
Yeah.
forcing, like we always say, listen,
Yeah.
don't think about what you want to say. And that's, I know
Oh gosh.
yeah,
Yeah.
I've needed that because I do get ahead of myself and I'm like, don't forget that, Charlotte. And my brain's over here and I've missed listening.
Yeah,
And that's
that's
been part of the
huge.
journey, hasn't it?
Yeah, and to me, I just want to quickly touch on something you said a moment ago about how we might want to do like a teaser at one point, and how
Yeah.
basically there absolutely is still room for improvement in terms of our podcast. Like, again, if you watch on YouTube, I would prefer you guys have a better background than what you're seeing right now, my messy office files, and I don't know what that is in the corner. But, but this, I think this is the wonderful and the beauty of it all. Like, nobody started as an expert
No.
in anything.
Yeah.
Nobody popped out the womb going, "Hey, I know how to make the best podcast." Nobody popped out the expert, did they?
No.
And this is like, but we could wait until we were experts, until I
Yeah.
had the perfect backdrop, until we had the perfect jingle, the intro, the outro, the teaser,
Yeah.
the setup, the lights, the camera, the action. But oh my gosh, we'd be waiting for the rest of our lives, right?
I
But
still don't think if we'd have done that, we'd still not have launched it probably by this time this year,
no,
would we?
no,
And we've just done a
no.
year.
But we're walking on the
Yeah.
way, and the way is appearing. And yes, it's probably not the most polished podcast. But that's okay, guys, because we're doing it. And this is that
Mm,
whole, on a much bigger picture, doing things in life
yeah.
rather than not doing them is that regret. And I think I
Mm,
shared in the stories last week, this whole waiting feeling. I felt
yeah.
like for a part of my life, in the past sort of 2 or 3 years, there was this period where this heavy waiting, like waiting
Mm,
for, and it was like, what am I waiting until this? Or am I waiting until that? And I couldn't even to be honest, I really couldn't put a finger on what the hell I was waiting for, but just this
yeah.
feeling of waiting.
Mm,
And then, you know, thank the universe, we met, and I'm now part of TAGC, which is incredible, and the rest is
yeah.
history. But my point here is, if I'd have carried on waiting, there was this moment when I suddenly realised, like, the pain of regret was so much bigger
Hmm.
than the pain of feeling the fear, looking goofy, messing up, imperfect action, getting
Yeah.
it wrong, learning from your mistakes. Like, I knew there was so much in me. And this brings us back to this topic actually of finding our voices, because this is what the podcast was, the platform for us both to really
Hmm.
find our voices and start using our voices in a different way. And so for me, it was just this. I didn't want to keep all that I had inside anymore. Sorry,
Yeah.
I am on topic here, but
You
I'm
are,
just
you
trying to bring
are.
it. I am on topic. It just felt like I had so much inside of me. And I remember a moment where I sat and I thought, oh my gosh, if I keep this inside, and on my deathbed, I don't do this,
Hmm.
speak up, share, inspire, educate, whatever we call it, for me or for my girls or the next generations or the women of the world, like, that regret felt
Mm,
heavy on my body, heavy on my heart.
yeah.
Um, and I just wanted to share that, because none of this has been perfect since we started. The
No.
podcast, what we do, like,
Hmm.
every day we're still walking on the way and letting that way appear. Nobody's tipped up to us. No one's knocked on either of our doors and gone, hey guys, here's the manual that you're looking
Yes.
for. Here's the how to. I mean, of course, we can find resources, and we do. We have business coaches, and we tap into resources on a business sense.
Hmm.
And there's guides out there, and there's a lot out there to support us. But ultimately, we have to just go for it, don't we?
Yeah. It's
I
been
hope
me
this
and
has just
you.
made sense.
No, it's been me and you and our little microphones every
Yeah,
week, just seeing what comes
showing
out,
up.
showing up and seeing what comes out and listening to our heart and thinking, what do we want to share today? Like, how do we want to be? How do we want to just, like you say, inspire others to be? And I think this kind of rounds us up nicely, like the word authentic. And I know we've kind of batted this around, haven't we? Of like, who on earth are we?
Yeah.
Science.
Who
What do
am
we
I?
do? We help women get transformations in that. We help women be the change that
Yeah.
they want to be in their world. Like, absolutely. But trying to get that into a sentence and like, but the word authentic was something that really resonated with me in the beginning, because I think in the very beginning of my journey speaking out on Instagram, that was where I started. I was a stuck stay-at-home mom who didn't have any time for herself. I didn't know what I enjoyed anymore. And I just set out on this journey to share that and see where it took me. And the word authentic always just stuck with me because like it lights me up to speak about the podcast in this way, because I think so many times we can look at a polished podcast or look at someone doing a podcast and we think that they've got it all figured out. And that is such a core message that I think we share, is that we are all winging it.
Yeah.
Like we are all taking one little step after one little step, whether people say that they are or not. Like we all are. We're not born experts in anything. We can learn whatever we want to do. We can figure out the how to as we go. But we've got to follow our heart, and we've got to, like you say, when you get to that point of frustration, and I really relate to that feeling of frustratedness. Like when I was that stuck stay-at-home mum, just literally craving something else, that frustration got too strong. I was taking it out on everybody else, like, and I had to go inwards and go, right, Charlotte, this is you. You're frustrated with yourself because you're so unclear and you don't know where you want to go. I feel like I've gone off on a bit of a tangent, but the word authentic, this is it. You know, this podcast is authentic. We've never filmed a podcast and edited it.
No,
We've never.
I don't think we know how.
No, we don't know how.
No, we do. This is where I declare I've got a video production degree. I used to edit sound and video, but I've forgotten. I'm rusty.
Yeah,
I just haven't tapped into that skill.
we literally filmed something. We've never filmed something and then gone, oh no, and not posted it.
No.
Like we run on being authentic, and that's whatever. So whatever you have heard here is from our heart. It's from our head in that day, and I love that, because let's all be more that, because it's freed
Yes.
up so much for us, hasn't it? Like
Yeah.
it's allowed us to figure out who we are, why we are the person that we are, and then put ourselves into the world more.
Yeah.
So
And I
yeah,
love what you just said. Sorry, I love what you just said about, stay-at-home mum, and how you decided to make a move, that the frustration got so heavy and so
yeah,
much. And I'm sure a lot of our listeners can relate to this, that it's making that move, isn't it? And it's focusing on what you can control. That's the
yeah.
important thing, isn't it? To focus
Mhm.
on what you can control and what you can do. We knew we could buy microphones and we knew we could hit record.
Yeah,
And then we just, just kind of, you gotta go for it, haven't you?
yeah,
And it can feel big in the first place, but I think whatever it is you're looking to do or changes you're looking to make, it's knowing that you can control what you can control, and you can seek out, what that next step is.
yeah.
And it's the podcast, I put so many limitations on it that I put on myself.
Mhm.
Like the
Yeah.
only person stopping me was me.
Mhm.
And when I sat and wrote out a document, I think I've shared this, I've still got
Yeah.
it. I wrote out a document of all the reasons why and what was stopping me,
Mhm.
and then all the reasons why I wanted to do it. And I read it and I reviewed it. I was like, come on, Kat.
Yeah.
Like, it's black and white. It's written here on paper. Like,
Ooh, I love
yes,
that.
get over yourself, man. You're a bit brummy. It doesn't matter. You're not polished. Sometimes you speak too quickly and it doesn't come out very well. Sometimes you feel like you can't articulate. However, on the other hand, if you're not here, you've got something out there for your girls. You've got something
Mhm.
out there for the next generations. And it's things that you do. It's
Yeah.
words of wisdom, it's inspiration that you do to just wake up happy and live a
Yeah.
cracking life. So, in a nutshell.
And I love that, because everything that you have just said, like all of those doubts that you had with yourself, have never ever come across to me, and I guarantee have never come across to our listeners. Like they've never picked up on gone, you're too brummy. Like I'm not going to listen. Do you know what I mean?
You
But
watch the barrage of messages now. She's so brummy.
but all of those things, like they're so, what am I trying to say here?
In
We
our heads.
Yeah, in our heads, they're not reality. And
Yeah.
that stops us so much. And like, I know when I've had a day where I'm just like, oh, this sounds really messy, and I've sent it to you and you're like, that is good. That is good to
Yeah.
go. Like that's such a big learning for me in this past year, is that things can feel messy, like to us, because we're trying to be perfect. We're trying to have those ducks in a row before we press
Mm.
play. But the reality is we're never going to press play in that way. We've got to push through that bit and go, do you know what? I'm ready to live an imperfect life and see where on earth that takes me, because that's more fun. That's more exciting. And I'm going to move a hell of a lot faster going that way.
Oh my gosh, yeah. Shake off that need for perfection and you are moving.
Yeah. Yeah.
You are moving big time. You can get over that procrastination. You can get over that waiting feeling and just go for it.
Yeah.
And change your relationship with failure. You can't fail. You can only learn.
Yeah.
And you'll move.
And in the beginning, because we had a name for the podcast, didn't we? And I remember one of the things that stopped us was feeling like it needed to have like a logo and like look pretty and have a lot of meaning behind it and be all of this. So it's kind of all bells and whistles what we started with, wasn't it? We did actually have a great name, which I don't know whether we're going to go back to, because we reviewed it the other week, didn't we? And we were like, ooh, I like that. However, the time was not then. And I'm really proud of us both for this. We were spending a lot of time on the how.
Yeah.
And then we just went, what do we want to do? We want to show up and have a conversation. That feels really achievable. Boom. Conversations with Charlotte and Kat.
Indeed. Does what it says on the
are.
tin.
Yeah.
That's it, isn't it? Yeah.
But we didn't let that stop us, that need to have that all figured out and all perfect. We identified, like, this is stopping us right now. What do we actually want to do with this? We want to show up and have a conversation and help people. Boom. Conversations with Charlotte and Kat. Although my friend Claire actually said to me, she was like, I thought it was chat with Charlotte and Kat, because that really goes, doesn't it? And I was like, it really does.
It does.
we didn't think that.
And there we go. 12 months on, we're still going. Showing up every Monday.
Yes.
Episode 43 or something. I feel like we're maybe on now.
I feel like we need. This is where we're imperfect, guys. We needed a few stats to share with you, didn't we?
Yeah. We've got a lot of listeners. There we go. 1800 listens or something.
Yeah, downloads, I think, haven't we?
Downloads, yeah,
something like that. Oh dear. But yeah, I hope, guys, that this episode just helps you press play on something. If you're feeling frustrated, if there's something, a little idea, even if it's like a seed that you can only just see and feel, grab it, nurture it, put some water on it, take it one step at a time, and the how will come. You've just got to go with that feeling.
Absolutely.
Amazing.
It's been great to chat.
Yes. Oh, goodness. One whole year.
And thank you for listening. And if you enjoy listening, it would mean the world if you drop us a review or share your favourite. Oh, that would be amazing. Share your favourite episode with us. We'd love to know. And if there's a topic you'd love us to cover, or any questions you'd like to ask us, that we can answer during a conversation, please let us know those as well, because that really excites us. So just know that we are here for you. We are your cheerleaders, and our DMs are always open.
Amazing. Thank you so much. Speak to you
Take
soon,
care.
guys.
Bye.